Hi, everyone. I'm Ben Werner. I'm going to be the guest GM today with Cohort 20. I'm going to be running Knights of the Underbed. It's a tiny D6 role-playing game. So if everyone wants to go around and introduce themselves really quickly, go ahead and let's start with Hilde.
Hello, I'm Hilda. I'm playing from Bergen, Norway.
Hi.
Playing
Fad?
Morgan the cat.
Okay. Fad?
I'm Fad. I'm playing from Canberra, Australia, and I am playing Hampton the hamster.
Nice. KJ?
Hi, I'm KJ playing in Adelaide, Australia, and I will be playing Gus the corgi.
Nice. Daniel?
I'm Daniel, or you can refer to me as Enoch. Everybody does. And I am Jamie Brickman.
Nice.
Yeah.
Boone? Oh, in Seattle, yes. Go ahead. Sorry, Boone.
All right. I'm Boone. I'm playing from Yulee, Florida, and I'm going to be Tiggy the tiger.
Nice. And I'm from Olympia, Washington. And let's get going. So a little bit before we started, I explained to everyone how we're going to build out our setting. So the basic setting of Knights of the Underbed is that you are a group of stuffed animals and toys or actual live animals. Hampton is a live hamster pet with his hamster ball that we have today with us. And you are all members of an organization called Knights of the Underbed. And you are from the great city of Underbed, which exists under all beds everywhere. And where the great keep of the Knights of Underbed exists. And your job is to protect children from monsters and nightmares that try to sneak in from the dreamlands and disturb them and bother them and make their lives miserable. So with that all being said, we're going to, as a group, go around in a circle. We're going to like ping pong back and forth. So we're going to go all the way one way, and then that person's going to go twice, and they'll go back to the first person. We're going to do this twice, and we're going to each decide on something to add to our setting. And they can be themes or threats, faces, groups, and locations. And two things that we already have decided is, of course, because we have pre-generated characters, is that the child that you are all protecting is Billy. And one of the locations in the house that you all live in is Billy's room. So does anyone have anything that's like a burning desire that they are certain about that they want to have as part of our setting or theme or characters that are here in that are going to be part of our game? Does anyone want to go first? Okay, Enoch.
Is
Jamie
this where we
Brickman.
say? Is this where we say one thing is true?
Yes, you're going to say like one true thing about the setting, and I'm going to write it out here in the chat so people can see, and then we'll add. Yeah, nice. And then I'm going to like add it into like a full thing so I can have like a full sheet of all the information. So do you want to go first, or do you want to?
Nights have been disappearing.
Oh, okay.
When the vacuum comes out, nights are disappearing.
If I can spell vacuum correctly. There we go.
There's two U's. It took me like till 35 to figure out that there were two U's.
All right, so Knights have been disappearing. So that goes into our themes and threats. Clearly it's a threat. Knights have been okay. And under that, I'm going to assume that there are other knights besides all of you because you're all still here. So can you give me a name or a type of like a specific knight that's gone missing? Or can you tell me like how many have gone missing?
That's the thing. Nobody's quite sure because sometimes they turn up and they're behind the bookshelf, and they were behind the bookshelf the whole time. So it's a mystery as to what the extent of the impact on the order is.
Okay. And can you name one give me a name of one knight that's been missing for a long time, or like a type of knight. And you can even use one of the pre-generated characters that we haven't used if you want, if you're stuck.
It's got to be small enough, right?
Could be a really big one.
What are small toys? Somebody else help me out here. What's a small toy?
It could be Action Man, who's like an opposable like superhero action character, if you want.
I like that.
Okay.
I think I might have
Let's
a
say
chime background. If this chime is from me, I think I'm trying to change a setting here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
Action Man has been missing for, let's say, several weeks.
Mhm.
Okay. Action Man is very much like charismatic go-getter, like ha ha, and will like leap off into things before anyone else has decided on a conclusion. A little Leroy Jenkins for those of you.
He's got, Action Man has a distinctive dimpled chin.
Yes. Yeah. Lantern jaw and dimpled chin. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next person. I'm just going to go in what I see on my screen in the order. So unless someone is like, no, skip me because I still don't get it. That's totally fine. KJ, let's go to you. Gus the Corgi.
I'm sorry, I'm still trying to get my head around the world that we're in and the game that we're playing. I'm finding it a little bit difficult to come up with something on the fly right now. Can we come back to me?
Sure, totally. That's fine.
Thanks.
Morgan, Hildy.
Yeah. Okay, so a theme?
It can be anything. So you could do, there's themes and threats, there's faces, so other characters. So like Action Man is technically now also a face under there. Billy the Kid is one. And if you want to like give lots of details about Billy the Kid, like their pronouns and their age and things they like, stuff like that. There's also groups, so organizations. And then of course, locations are also important.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so Billy, he's a 5-year-old kid. He's
Okay.
brave, as stated by the name. He will always run head first into stuff, which is why we have to sort of look out for him, because he gets into trouble so much because of that.
Okay.
And he's sort of like loud and noisy, but like a good kid.
Right.
Just no consequence thinking whatsoever.
And are they in kindergarten, or is it like have they just finished? Well, have they finished kindergarten or
Kindergarten, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Would be in Norway.
Yeah. Runs the trouble out, a noisy 5-year-old kindergarten brave. See if I want to ask you any other questions about Billy. I think those are good. Actually, let's ask. Okay, so let me ask you. Yeah, this is a good question. How did Billy acquire you? Were you did like Billy's parents like acquire you? Like, were you a gift at like Christmas or holidays, or were you like a hand-me-down from like one of Billy's parents or older siblings? Or
Billy actually nicked me
oh,
from one of his big sister's friends, and nobody knows that. And I, of course, I mean, I thought it was a good idea, so I
right.
stuck with it.
Yeah.
Because really, it was my decision. Come on, I'm a cat.
Right, you convinced me to do it. Yeah. The older sister's friend was like, kind of, not paying as much attention to you.
No, she didn't, but she still kind of searches for me, and so he hides me whenever she's over.
Of course. What's Billy's older sister's name?
Sophia.
Okay. What's her friend's name?
Ooh, Cecily?
All right, cool. All right, and let's go to Fad.
I think I'm going to pick a theme.
Okay,
I think the theme is going to be, because we're almost coming up to it, Easter.
okay,
And the reason that the theme is poignant is simply because when Easter comes around, they start getting all the Easter bunny decorations out, the Easter eggs and all the other things, and they sometimes can be a little bit overpowering and overbearing in the household. And they kind of tend to want to run things when everybody else is asleep. And it's not good because they make too much mess, and they continuously try and put all the knights back in their place, because they should be having pride of place, not us.
right. So is it the rabbits, all the rabbit decorations? Like, are they the ones that are kind of running
Yeah,
things?
it's all the rabbit decorations that are trying to run things. They're going
Yeah.
around. They go a bit rampant, and they make a mess. They leave their little droppings, all their eggs around, which people trip over, and Billy gets up and he's constantly ignoring us because he wants to find all of these eggs, it's a hard time for us because we kind of get ignored and forgotten and lost. And so we've got to fight back against these rabbits, because they're trouble. They make a lot of mess around the place.
All righty. So this is what I wrote out in my notes for that. So if you think I need to change anything or anything, let me know. All right. Tiggy, you're up.
I'm gonna add a theme.
Okay.
Billy's family is getting ready to move soon,
Okay.
which means downsizing a little bit as they're figuring out what to pack. And this may kind of be part of the reason why some of the nights are disappearing, as the parents are kind of figuring out what needs to go and what needs to get packed.
I like that.
All righty. Tiggy, were you almost packed? Or did you witness a packing of a night?
I haven't witnessed a packing, but not specifically, but I have seen that mom is coming into the room and she's picking up, and sometimes some of the nights that she picks up are the ones that end up.
You cut out there for a moment.
Sorry, some of the nights that she's cleaning up end up disappearing permanently. Some of them come back.
Okay. Okay. And we haven't done anything yet with
Locations.
other groups, although the rabbits, Easter decorations would be a group technically. And we haven't done anything with locations. Hold on, let me see this really quickly. Copy this down. All right, KJ, Gus, do you have this figured out yet, or do you want me to explain some more?
Well, the thought that came to mind for me was, given that Easter is coming up, Billy has recently been diagnosed with an allergy to chocolate.
Oh. Okay.
So I think a good location for this should be the kitchen, because it has the vault which contains all the chocolate.
Chocolate vault. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yes. There might be two, a cold vault and a warm vault. Like a cupboard in the fridge.
Billy's been diagnosed with a chocolate allergy. Okay.
So sad.
Yeah. My uncle had that, and it was it was sad. Rough. Okay. So yeah, do you wanna are you good with adding the idea of chocolate vault?
Yeah, definitely.
Vault in chocolate vault. I'm gonna say chocolate vaults, cold and warm, where it's all being kept. I actually, do you think one of the big problems with the rabbits is that the eggs they're leaving around are chocolate eggs?
Of course.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay. This is terrible. Now, is this like a life-threatening, or are we gonna is this like a debilitating allergy? And is Billy trying to avoid the chocolate, or is Billy like, oh, chocolate, and not really getting the allergy part, like connecting the allergy?
Well, I was sort of visualizing it as parents have said, okay, well, I know this is going to be hard, but you're not going to be able to have chocolate from now on. We'll have to find other ways of celebrating Easter, etc., etc. And Billy's like trying to go, yeah, okay, I understand, but chocolate's so good. And sort of, temptation is just too hard to resist, really.
But perhaps it just comes out in this massive rash of hives, and like he gets really itchy, and it makes him a bit, grumpy and upset. So we've got to get him to avoid the chocolate, otherwise he gets, it's not nice for him. They have to put all this cream all over him, and it's terrible. Yeah.
The
don't want
Benadryl
that.
cream. No.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's see. This is what I've written so far for that. Let me copy it from the other location. And then KJ, do you want to tell me something else about the kitchen? As far as like, is this a small house, or is this a big house? And is the kitchen like a really big kitchen, or like a small cramp, or somewhere in between? Or
it's a reasonably large kitchen, and the floor is very smooth, tiled surface, which Billy loves to slide across in his socks. So he runs as fast as he can through the hallway that leads to the kitchen, which is carpet, in his socks. And when he gets to the kitchen, he goes, plants the feet and slides, tries to get all the way from one end of the kitchen to the other.
Right, of course, obviously, yes. Fantastic.
Just like Ferris Bueller.
Sometimes slightly going off course, but
right. There isn't an island there with like sharp corners or anything that like right at the forehead level or anything like that.
No, but there is a cabinet that isn't necessarily all that stable, that has all the glassware in it.
Of course, yeah, like a baker's shelves or something with all these like glass cans and canning jars. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. let's see. Do you have another idea that you want to like go with again, or should we like jump back to the beginning?
Maybe jump back to the beginning.
Okay. All right. Enoch, we're going to jump back to you then. We have, I don't know if have you spoken? I can't know if, can you speak up, Enoch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there. I thought for a moment you were talking and I couldn't hear you.
Nope.
Sorry about that.
I'm with you.
All right. So right now, all we have is for locations is the kitchen. We have the rabbit Easter decorations as a group. And we have Billy, Action Man, and Sophia as other faces. We have a lot of themes and threats. So if you want to do a location, that would be great. Maybe another group or other faces. Those are all areas that we don't have a lot of development yet. Or if you want to build off something, like if you want to add more about Billy or maybe the
Billy's
Knights.
room.
Yeah, or
What's in
Billy's room. Yeah. Like, do you have a headquarters in Billy's room? Like, is there like a Castle Grayskull or something else, like a pirate ship or?
This house actually has an old heating AC system with, you know, the grates in the floor that go between. So it is a highly dangerous way to travel to the basement. But if you can travel to the basement, you can travel anywhere to get anywhere in the house. So it's like, I don't know, it's like, if anybody knows 40K, it's like the warp gates of this world.
So the basement heating duct system. Floor grates that can be removed. They go everywhere in the house. They all connect in the basement, but it's dangerous. What is that called? The furnace is down in the basement. Okay. Yeah, which all the heating ducts connect to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's great. That's fantastic. Let's see. Trying to think if I want to ask you another. Have you? I think all the knights have probably used it before in the past, but like you said, it's dangerous to do. Let's. Yeah, I think we're good. Here, let me put that in the chat for everyone. I can see that. All right, and I'm using like a bullet point system in my thing, so that's why it just kind of appears as like a series of text as it does. Okay, and then let's go to Hildy.
Yeah. So can I add an organization?
Sure. Yeah. Group.
I was thinking that also in the basement there is a group of small mice.
Okay.
Which I have a love-hate relationship with, because they're very useful, but they're also mice.
Right. Jeez. Yeah.
And mice are lame.
Yeah.
Right.
But
they can get sort of everywhere, and they nobody notices them, so they can keep watch, and they notice stuff that we don't always see, and so they're
everywhere. They notice things. Okay, and what are they called? Do they have a name, or are they just the basement mice?
Oh, they should have a cool name, but I can't come up with one on the fly.
Okay.
Anyone
else have a cool idea?
The Mouseketeers.
Yeah.
What was that? Mouseketeers?
Mouseketeers.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Everything I had in my head was mice baby. No.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, no, toss that in. You got to toss that in. That's their like war cry or theme.
Mice baby.
Yeah. in touch with them, we go to the basement and
Yeah. I think they also have like a, I think at some point their founder like watched a Three Musketeers movie and like maybe misheard it and it was like Mouseketeers and like created this whole like society that's like, you know, Three Musketeers, like all for one, one for all, but then also mice, baby.
yeah.
So it's this weird amalgamation. I can't pronounce today. Yes, of both bad 90s hip hop and Musketeers. So, you know, they wear like little blue tabards and have like pins for swords and like fancy hats, you know. So, okay. All right, so here are the Mouseketeers. Bam. All right. Fad.
What are we missing a bit of?
We don't have a lot of locations. We have the kitchen, the basement, heating duct system, and Billy's room, and we haven't described really much of Billy's room.
Okay, so Billy's room has a bunk bed.
Nice.
Where he loves to sleep on the top bed.
Okay.
And the bottom bed is all just used for all his junk, all his stuff. And in amongst that, he has created a Lego castle, which is his pride and joy, which also happens to be our headquarters.
Fantastic. This is a Brickman castle.
Yeah.
We're not Lego copyrighted.
Right. Yeah, Brickman castle. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Fair enough. And Billy keeps changing it every few days. He will take a bit off and then create a new room or just add a bit to it or something. So it's a constantly evolving headquarters with different things in it.
Yeah, of course.
And sometimes we also build stuff and he gets up and he wonders how it's done. And he's always very confused as to, you know, there's a new tower and he's going, I don't remember doing that sort of thing.
Right.
But so we're constantly evolving that ourselves. But
Right.
he loves it because he knows that if he starts creating some stuff, that sometimes it just gets finished by itself. But then, you know, sometimes so he does it. It's his pride and joy. He also has this cupboard, which is the messiest cupboard that you have ever seen. His clothes are just literally all thrown in there. They're not sorted in any way, shape, or form. And so he's often wearing odd socks and often either pantless or shirtless or something like that because he can't find all the right clothes. He'll often wear odd shoes as well because, you know, they're all just thrown so in the cupboard that it's just impossible for him to find anything that he wants in the way of what to wear.
Now let me ask you another leading question about Billy's room. Is
Yep.
your hamster run cage / like tube system, is that in
Yep.
Billy's room?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, that I had thought of that, and yes, you're right. It is in Billy's room. That's where I've got my little run, and I've got my ball, which I can. It's got this system in which the ball sort of can click onto the side of the run.
Yeah.
And when you click it onto the side, the ball has a like a gate which can just flop open.
Right. Exactly. So
and I can go out into the run.
Yeah.
And then I can come through the run into the ball. And if I hit the ball hard enough, it unclips and the door closes and I can run around anywhere in the room in the ball.
Right.
But I'm protected in either the run or the ball. That's my safe place. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You're always safe. You always have
I'm
that.
always safe. I always
Right.
have this, I have these walls, these
Yeah.
clear force fields all around me all the time.
Yeah. Your own oxygen, almost like your own environment.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. The habit trail cage. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like all these tubes. Okay, here's an important question for Hampton. What color tint are they're clear, but they're like translucent. But like, is it like yellow, green, purple, red, blue? What's Hampton?
I think it's blue. It's all blue. Everything, it's all tinted slightly this shade of blue.
Yeah, blue tinted habit trail. Ball connects. You call it your airlock.
Yes, my airlock. That's it.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay.
That allows me through the force field into the rest of the world, but keeps a mobile force field around me.
Right, exactly. Fantastic. Okay. And Enoch, you had a question.
Quick question. How old was Billy's older sister?
We haven't determined yet.
Okay. All right. I'd like to say that if I can add one thing in here.
Sure.
I know I'm kind of out of turn, but she's kind of like a geek. So she's got a bunch of pop culture things. Like I'm basing her on me, of course. She's got like a Buddha Yoda, but this is the terror of the house. And all of her toys are not really toys. They're still in the boxes or on the shelf, right? She's like a geek collector. And this, you don't have to use this if you want. This may just disappear, but this is the Xenomorph Pikachu. Easily the most terrifying and evil toy in the house.
Okay.
It's always in the back of the mind that you may, and it's unclear as to what part's more terrifying. Pokemon aspect or the Xenomorph aspect of it. Somewhere floating is the killer toy in the back of everyone's mind.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome. She suddenly took a whole nother turn.
It
It's
suddenly
awesome.
just became this, but with alien isolation mixed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my first cohorts I did guest jam for this game, they decided that the Furby, there was a Furby there's like a frozen kids meal. I can't even remember what it's called, but there was like a unique Furby for that like one of the kids had, and it was like the big villain of the thing because it was just like so creepy looking. And I'll try to find the picture and post it for all of you some point. But like, yeah, that was like exactly the same, like this like crazy, creepy, weird toy thing that's just like its eyes are always open and it's all these weird colors. And yeah, okay, fantastic.
Can I ask a question? Have
Yes.
you ever seen this one move, Enoch?
I'm going to say that no, it's always just sitting there.
It's like it is like still, and then it's like on one shelf, and then you turn, and then it's on different shelf.
It's
Yeah,
like the
and
what's the angels from
Like the weeping
Doctor Who?
angels. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Don't blink. Just don't blink.
Oh, Blake. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So we went from adventure story to now potential horror story. That's fantastic. Okay. Taigi, you have yet.
I'm gonna add a face.
Okay.
So
Fantastic.
Since this is coming up on Easter, Billy has an Easter basket. It hasn't been given to him yet.
Okay.
It's in his parents' closet, and in this Easter basket is a stuffed bunny, and his name is Fluffernutter. And Fluffernutter has met the knights, and he's made it very clear that he intends to survive the moving clean out. He is going to be going to the new place, and he doesn't care who needs to be sacrificed to make room for him.
Okay. Has met the knights. Surviving the move. sacrificed. For him. Fantastic. Now, Tiggy, are you the one that ran into Fluffernutter in the closet? Were you bouncing about the house as you want to do, or?
Yes, I was kind of exploring one night, and I ran into him. I tried to befriend Fluffernutter, but he's not a very friendly buddy.
Yeah, not a funny bunny.
No. And I have gone back and I have let the other knights know that there is this incoming toy that does not seem to want to be friends with us.
Yes, fantastic.
Is Fluffernutter in charge of all the Easter decorations?
We don't know.
I was
Oh.
thinking that would actually be good. So he is kind of leading all of the hijinks of the other Easter decorations.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And there we go. All right, KJ, Gus.
Would we like another location?
Sure.
Yeah. So I was thinking the backyard, where there is there's an in-ground pool, but because it's not particularly warm weather and everybody's getting ready to move, the pool has the cover pulled over it, so you can't actually see what's under there.
Mm-hmm.
The pool hasn't been emptied; it's still full, but the
Right.
cover is pulled
It's got
over.
that blue cover with that's like kind
Yeah.
of sagging down in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What else is in the backyard? Is the backyard like fenced off? Do they have like a brick wall or a chain link wall, or is it like open? And
I
what
was
type of like
thinking
environment?
maybe their house backs onto a reserve, so there are fences. Good fences make good neighbors. There are fences on both sides, but the back fence maybe has gaps in it and has a gate in it that you can actually get out to the nature reserve through.
Fantastic.
And there is I'll base this on my own backyard. There is a trampoline out there. It's a spring-free trampoline, so it has a protective mesh thing around it with a rim at the top that the birds love to come and sit on. And if you don't tie bird scare tape all the way around it, the birds will come and sit there and have a big conversation with each other, and they make a real mess on the trampoline.
They do. Okay, one more question about the reserve. What type of environment do the Billy's family live in? Is this like a temperate rainforest, or is it more like just a regular forest or a desert environment, or sort of like tropical type thing, or like a prairie land, or?
I was thinking temperate.
Okay. Temperate forest.
Yeah.
Cool. So lots of trees and brush and
Yeah.
stuff. All righty. Is that everything? I think we got everyone twice. I believe so. And do you have did you want to say anything more about the backyard? I should have asked you that before I said.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh.
No, I think we can leave the rest of it, here be dragons, and make it up as we go along.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break really quickly. We ran over a little bit. but let's take a 5-minute break. And I don't think we can turn off our cameras. Don't turn off your cameras. But if you need to run off, go ahead and do that. Or if you just want to like angle your camera out of the way, if you. But we'll take a 5-minute break. I'm going to look at all my notes here, try to work out what I'm going to do as far as the story goes, and make some antagonists. Although you all already handed me several excellent antagonists, so thank you for that. And then we'll get rolling. So go to the bathroom, get some water or a drink of your choice, and we'll be right back. All right. Welcome back. So let's begin. It was a dark and stormy night. The rain pattered upon the window of Billy's room as Billy slept deep and soundly. Hampton, secure in their blue habit trail, sleeping deep amongst the wood chips. Morgan and Gus and Tiggy, all about your various personal rooms within the grand Brickman Castle. And of course, Jamie Brickman keeping watch on the parapets of the main keep of Brickman Castle. And things are quiet besides the patter of the rain. You can barely hear Billy sleeping soundly. And Tiggy, you had just returned earlier in the evening, just after everyone had gone to sleep. You had been out exploring with Billy. And Billy had been like sneaking around Mom and Dad's room. And that's when you ran into Fluffernutter, the rabbit. And you had just come back and informed everyone about this. And things were pretty quiet. You're all like, okay, well, this is a problem. We don't know what to do yet about the missing knights. And maybe it's Fluffernutter. What's, you know, who knows exactly what's going on with that. But we do have a bit of a threat here with this rabbit and all these guys making a mess. But today was actually pretty calm. The rabbits did make some mess. But fortunately, you were all able to go about the house and clear out all the chocolate eggs that they had left about before Billy could find any of them. Gus and Morgan and Tiggy had been particularly good at like scouring the house for all these things. And Hampton, you had been patrolling around looking for these. And I think maybe Brickman had been like running in his Tyrannosaurus form. Tyrannosaurus bricks on top of the hamster ball, like also as the other scout earlier in the day to make sure that Billy was chocolate free. But then you hear over in the corner of the room where Billy had built a blanket fort, right? Because Billy's a big mess. We all know this. Billy's cupboard is filled with just a pile of clothes. Billy's mom is constantly always trying to like refold everything and put it in their proper drawers and everything like that. And it feels like minutes later, Billy's already like messed it all up again. And with all the busyness for the parents moving and getting ready for the move and starting to pack, Billy's mom just has let that like one thing go by the wayside. And so Billy's room is like a little extra messy. And one of the things you were all able to do was distract Billy today a bit from looking for chocolate, was to build a blanket fort over in the corner of the room. And that fort used like this big like cream colored like fleece blanket. And there were a couple like chairs from Billy's desk and like a big couch cushion that they'd used for the other end support. And it was all kind of hanging there quietly and dark, the patter of the rain. And then you hear Jamie, because you're out there staring out across the parapets. Are you Captain Brickman right now, spaceman extraordinaire, or are you in another form right now, Jamie?
I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be James Bonding it right now.
Okay, so you're currently you are the Brickabout town.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brickman, Jamie Brickman.
How quick is the flip? Like the
it's one action. Like, you spend an action and you flip into your new form.
Thank you.
So only during like conflict, it'll cost you one action if you want to change forms, right? So it's basically we haven't talked very much about conflict yet, but we'll get to that when it happens. But you're staring out and you see suddenly a dim light glowing, almost as if it's coming from the floor, in like the blanket fort itself, like the blanket, like you can see like a light coming from inside the blanket fort. And then it starts getting brighter and brighter, and it's coming up from like the floor. And then you see it like almost go up the chair leg. And then now it like sits there with the chair that's under the blankets. Like there's a glowing light there. And you hear some like whispering sounds like And so what do? Everyone else is just kind of like chilling out for the evening, and you see this right away, Jamie. You want to get the other knights, or do you want to go explore it by yourself?
Normally I might scout, but let's wake everybody up. There's
Okay.
the move. There's Easter. There's too much stuff going on. This is we all hands on deck, really.
Right. Yeah.
And toys disappearing. This is not good times right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Things are too much in upheaval. It's very fraught. So you go about and you wake the other members up, and you jump over to the Habit Trail, Hampton's Bat Cave, as Hampton I think maybe sometimes calls it. Hampton, you get out and you run down your tunnel and jump into your ball, and it pops off and it lands on the floor. Boom, boom. Billy rolls over, snores a little bit, pulls her covers up tighter. Fortunately, the rain is loud enough on the window that it doesn't really like wake anyone up. And the 5 of you have like organized on the floor right in front of Billy's lower bunk bed, because the Habit Trail I think is on like a desk that Billy uses as like both their desk, writing working desk, and on one side of that desk is the Habit Trail. And so Hampton like gets in the ball and the ball falls down on the floor. So what do you all want to do? Want to discuss things or go over and look?
Morgan.
It's no. What did you wake me for? What did you wake us for, Jamie? What is it? What's going on?
Something weird's going on. I don't have a perfect Atticus character. I don't have a perfect vision in my head yet what that looked like. But whatever Ben just described, I describe it verbatim.
So basically there's like a one kid-sized blanket fort. One side is held up by like a chair with a back, and the other side is held up like, at a weird angle with like a couch cushion. And there's a big cream colored like blanket over it. And it was all dark, and it was over against the wall and dark in one corner. But then suddenly this like yellow light came up out of what appeared to the ground and then up into the chair. Now it's like hanging out in the chair, and you're hearing weird whispers. Like on the seat of the chair.
Is the fort over where the vent was?
Yes.
Heating duct.
Mm-hmm. That's why Billy builds over there, because it's like extra warm in the fort.
So I fix it with my eyes. I stare at it and I go, a threat. I'm going to make myself look big. And I raise my arms and puff my fur.
Yeah.
I'm going to make...
Fantastic.
Well, nobody can get me in my ball of doom, so I'm going to go and have a look. And I'm going to start running around and rolling my ball towards the...
Okay. So Hampton's just like takes off, starts rolling straight towards the
fort.
Blanket fort. Yeah.
Yep.
Does anyone want to stop Hampton, or are you going to follow along?
No, I'm going to help him get there. I'm going to trot along behind the ball and give it a little push with my paw.
Fantastic. Okay. So yeah, you're running along as well.
Yep.
Morgan, Taigi, Jamie, you all going to join along?
I'm going to let them... Sorry, go on.
One action to transform to a more threatening Tyrannosaurus brick form, and the other action to move.
Sure, fantastic. We're not in combat conflict yet, so but yeah, totally.
I just thought I'd drop how the mechanics work, so anybody viewing it maybe get an idea.
Yeah, totally. That's fantastic. So yeah, you transform into Tyrannosaurus Rex, or Tyrannosaurus brick. So now you're like you're a dinosaur man, and you run over, and and Morgan and Taigi, you both join along.
I'm going to let them go first.
Oh, okay.
And then saunter along at the very end.
Yeah, at the back. Yeah. Okay. Hampton, you break through the blanket before anyone else, and when you get in there, it's bright. Like there's definitely a light coming up from up on the seat, and you hear these tiny voices like there's like a whole, and it's weird in here because the light is it appears to be one of those like tea candle lights with a little LED candle, so it's like pretty powerful and bright, but it's like a yellow white light, and there's all these big shadows around it, like up on the thing, but you can't see anyone up on the chair seat up above you. You're just like, what is going on up there? And you hear these voices and like these
And I
shadows
can't climb up
around
because I'm in my ball, so I'm
right.
looking around. I'm trying to look to see if I can, like, is the pillow on such an angle that I could maybe get a run up and sort of roll up the pillow slightly, and as I'm rolling up and about to bounce, get a look to see on the chair. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to run right over and roll up the pillow slightly, and as it gets to the epigee of the loop that I make as I roll up, I'm going to try and turn around and look and see if I can see on top of the chair before I bounce down onto the ground again.
Sure, fantastic. Give me I'm going to say because you have the pillow angle and you're using your ball of doom, which is like your primary mode of transportation. I'll give you 3d6 to roll for that to see if you get high enough to see.
And can I help?
I got an 11.
Did you get any 5s or 6s?
No.
Okay.
That's right. That's 5, 6s.
Yeah. So success. So just to let everyone know.
That's right.
If it's a standard roll, it's 2d6. If you're at disadvantage, you roll 1d6, and if you have advantage, it's 3d6. And then the successes are 5s or 6s on any of the dice. So you didn't get any 5s or 6s?
Nope.
That's okay. You go flying up. And you're like looking, and there's just all these big shadows. That's like, and you're just like, what? There's so many of whatever that is. You can't quite make it out because it's just too fast. And Gus has just run in to come help you, but your time, you were like a little too fast, Hampton. And Gus was like there to help push you, but you had already taken off. And then you come and you land on top of Gus. Fortunately, Gus is fluffy, and neither of you are injured. But Gus and Hampton kind of roll over in a ball, and you're now near the vent, and you notice that the vent itself has been it hasn't been removed, but knights can like remove the whole vent. You can just pull it up out of the floor, but all the slats, which are normally like, this angle, have all been opened straight up and down and have like the maximum amount of space between them, and you can like feel the heat coming up from there. And so all the slats on the vent have been moved, and from earlier when you were playing in there that they were mostly like this. So that's something strange. And Tiggy and Jamie, you both get in there. Morgan is still sauntering in, trying to make sure Morgan looks cool and scary at the same time. Tiggy, do you want to do anything?
So can I? If
you
I
hear
want
and
to
see everything that's in there at the moment. Oh,
okay. If I want to kind of like climb up the chair leg.
Yeah, totally.
Does movement and sneak have to be 2 separate actions?
No, not at all. You want to be like sneaky as you climb up the chair?
Right.
Okay.
I want to be sneaky and just kind of peer over the edge of the chair to see what's happening.
Sure. And because you come from a family of bouncers, I'm going to give you 3d6 for that.
Okay.
Because you know about getting up and seeing things. Yeah.
All right. I've got a 6, a 5, and a 4.
Fantastic. You climb up the chair leg and you peek your head over, and you see this whole group of mice with blue and gold, and some of them have blue and silver tabards on, and they're all standing around this tea light LED. And one of them is slightly bigger than the others and has a fancier hat, and they're holding something about the size of a jelly bean in their hands, but because of the light and the shadows and everything, it's hard to tell what it is exactly. But they're all quietly whispering. But because you're high enough and you're close enough, you can hear them say, "What are we going to tell the knights? This is horrible. This is they're going to be very upset about this." And you see the larger mouse go, "Well, this is why we came. We can't back out now." And then at that moment, he kind of turns like he's going to walk towards the edge and like jump down. And you notice, or he notices you. He goes, "Oh, what's ho there, villain?" And he like draws his tiny pin and like squares off with you. And he's got this thing in his arm, like he's holding it under his arm, like kind of like a football. It's about football size to this mouse, right? And they're holding it under, and he's, "Oh, who goes there?" And actually, let me ask you really quickly: have you met the mice of the basement, Tiggy?
We've met.
Okay.
We've met before, not under the best of circumstances. We have a kind of uneasy acquaintanceship.
Right. This is Vanilla Mouse, or Vanilla Mice is actually the name he goes by. Is the leader. So he's an all-white mouse. And you think maybe Vanilla Mice escaped from a research place or something like that? It's very strange. But he's got this whole Mouseketeer thing going on. He's got this big fancy hat with a feather, probably taken from some sort of like toy, some other toy where he got this actual feather. And yeah, the blue tabards. Where they got the material and the paint to like put these together, and their little like rope belts, and they clearly raided the mom's sewing kit for all the pins and needles that they use as their rapiers. So Vanilla Mice is standing off and going, "Watch ho, villain! Who goes there?" What do you do?
I'm just gonna try to talk to him. So you've clearly come here to tell us something.
Oh, are you Tiggy the tiger?
I am.
Oh, put away your weapons, men. And he like slides his rapier away, and you notice all the other mice had like half drawn their thing, and they're putting them away. And one of the mice squeaks, "It's like, we're not all men. Some of us are lady mice." And he's, "Oh yeah, sorry, yes, of course." And it's like, "Oh yeah, we'll come to you." And all the mice begin to scurry down the legs, and a couple of mice, because mice are weird like this, they'll just scurry over you because they don't care about personal space. It's a little weird. And then you can like drop to the ground. And just at this moment, as the mice are scurrying out and like forming up, they've left the tea light up there, so it's all kind of like weird lighting still. Morgan, you walk into the thing, into the fort, and you see this group of mice there, and they have this thing. And Vanilla Mouse looks about and looks at Tiggy, because they're already talking with Tiggy, and says, "Yes, we discovered this earlier this evening, and we've made this great expedition through the vents to bring you this thing. Well, there are no words, and I am sorry for your loss." And he offers you this jelly bean thing. And Tiggy, do you take this thing from him?
I take it, and I show it to the others.
It is the mostly melted head of Action Man. You can still make out the dimple chin. But it's all like black, because like the plastic's melted. And he says, "We found this just outside the furnace. I am sorry that your friend is no more."
What is it, Tiggy? What do you have?
I burnt Action Man.
It's Action Man. They
What?
found his head outside the furnace.
And all the mice doff their caps and hold them. And they kind of, like look down.
He must have been on an expedition for something through the vents and didn't make it.
Or did someone put him in there? There's a mystery afoot. Maybe we need to go and have a look and investigate.
In the furnace?
Well, no, but near the furnace.
Near
where
the
they found it.
furnace.
Yes.
I mean, Action Man was brave and strong and died doing what he loved best, I assume.
I think we owe it to him to find out what really happened.
We do. He was the best amongst us. I'm going to lounge down in my
Well, the best. I mean,
ball and on my back and rock, thinking.
the best is
Oh,
a
do you
very,
remember the
very
time
big
when
word.
Action Man?
I mean, the best is a big word. Yeah, okay, he was good, but I'm just saying best. It's a big word.
Vanilla, can you lead us to where you found this?
Oh, yes, of course, yes. Form up. And then they go over to the vent. They start just like running down through the vent things, but most of you, besides Jamie, I think, are all too big, and especially Hampton, without removing the vent. So if you'd like to work as a group, I will let you, I'm not even gonna make you roll, but as a group, you can all work together and remove the vent, and then you can all jump down into the vents. And you have a system, I'm gonna assume, with Hampton, that like Gus probably, maybe Tiggy, helps Hampton, like when you have to like go up levels or like up angled stuff, like, or if Hampton can't get enough of a run, you like help push Hampton over hills and down and
Yeah.
up around and stuff.
Yeah, we're quite used to doing that. I sort of push
Right.
with my
Exactly.
nose.
Yeah. Yeah. And Morgan, of course, is always like in the back, like looking and making sure everything is good. Of course, I'm certain of that.
I will playfully like pat the ball when I think nobody's looking. Because I can't stop myself. But
Right. Exactly. It's like a compulsion.
yeah, when it rolls by, I like, no,
Yeah.
no, didn't do it. You didn't see it.
So you make your way down through the vents. It gets warmer and warmer, and finally, just before you think you're like at like one turn away from the main furnace heat exchanger. And Hampton, you are like sweating in your ball. In fact, your ball is like starting to steam up, and the rest of you, like Morgan and Gus and Peggy, like your fur is like on end, and it's very dry, and like you're all like nylon fur type, stuffies. So it's like if you get like much hotter, you might start like even just like crinkling and melting a little bit, like that way that like that fur does. And Jamie, you're like, this is the most limber I've ever been in my life. This might not be a good thing. But fortunately, right before that turn, there's another exit vent for the basement itself. And mice go through that, and you're able to push it open. And it's on this shelf. It's like big wooden storage shelf that's down in the basement. And it gets out there, and there's a way for all of you to like make your way down. And the mice help you with that. And you make your way to the basement floor, and it's this concrete basement. And it's recently, like, there's been a lot of stuff going on in there. So there's like big piles of like dust bunnies in a corner, and like areas that have been like scraped clean because they've been moving boxes that were down there. And a lot of boxes have been like kind of like not preloaded, but like, oh, what's the term? Where you like move boxes to like an area that you're gonna like, okay, we have these boxes ready to go. We've checked through them. We're gonna just load them on the truck when they're ready to go. And most of those are like other holiday decorations. So like there's like a box that says Halloween, and there's like 3 boxes that say Christmas, and there's another one like for another holiday, and just a bunch of different things like that. And there's even a couple that are like books and other, like the husband's like stuff and the wife's stuff that like they never opened after moving into the house. And the mice take you around the corner because it's kind of an L-shaped basement, and there's like a couple bare light bulbs that are up there that are like always on, but still long shadows in this room with the piles of boxes. They take you around the corner, and in the back corner is this furnace, and the furnace is this big thing with like, it looks almost like it's got these arms upraised, which are all the heat exchange vents, and the thing itself just is this big red gray machine, and it's got these like blinking red lights that could almost look like eyes, but they're like offset slightly. And then there's like this open, not quite a mouth, but it's like this like panel that you could take off to like view inside to make sure it's like burning and everything. And it's really old like furnacing, probably part of the reason why the family's thinking about moving. because it's like making these weird creaky noises, and that panel's been opened, and the mice bring you over and they're like, right here, this is where we found his head, and there's like this small like little like plastic melted like black smudge like right near that mouth space, and they're like, so this is where we found him. And if you look, there's like mouse footprints. There's other stuff here too. So if you want to like search around and explore, see if you can come up with anything else, go ahead and do that too.
Yeah.
But that's like
I'd like
the
to
main
have a
thing.
snoop around.
Okay, go ahead, Gus. So you want to sniff around,
Yeah.
and you know what? As a dog and a family trade, you were dust bunny wranglers, and there's tons
Yeah.
of dust bunnies down here.
Yeah.
You can maybe even like talk to the dust bunnies if you want to like search around. Dust bunnies, of course, are small piles of dust that look kind of like rabbits, that are a major herding animal for like, you know, for people who they collect the wool from dust bunnies in the great city of Underbed to like weave stuff.
Yep.
So-
And I see that these ones have not been corralled properly.
Oh,
so
or corralled,
I'm going to
yeah.
round up all the strays.
Right. Yes. As a corgi, as a herding animal. Yes, totally.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll it. Give me 3d6 rolls to see like what you find out from them, if you find anything out.
No, I got a 1 and 2 4s.
Okay. You do corral as you corral all the dust bunnies. They actually, what they tell you though, is that they haven't really seen anything. Things have been very chaotic down here. One day they're over in this corner, the other day they're in the next corner. And just like last week, they were all just hanging out amongst the boxes. So they're very concerned. They didn't see anyone or anything besides the mice down here, at least not in the basement proper.
Okay.
So that's what you get from them. So
Okay.
it's at least the information you do get some information that they didn't see anyone but the mice, right? But it may not be as helpful as you thought.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
dust
there's
bunnies
still
are
some,
not-
it's like negative information, right?
yeah. Dust
Yeah.
bunnies are not real bright.
They're not, no,
No.
their heads are full of dust, right?
Mm.
They're kind of like, you know, sheep.
Yeah.
In that sense, yeah. So Tiggy or Morgan, Mr. Brickman, Hampton, what all y'all want to do?
I'm
I'm
going
going-
to go and see if you said the furnace is open.
Yeah, like the panel is off.
The panel is off. I'm going to go and see if I can get to a position where I can see inside without actually getting too close.
Okay. And did you want to do that too, Tiggy?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm
So-
going to join him and inspect the furnace and inspect the panel as well.
Right. So the two of you inspect the panel. I'm not going to make you roll because you're just like looking at this thing. And Tiggy, you can even like stand on Hampton's ball and describe down to Hampton what's happened. But this big covering panel that's like a security panel was pulled off. And the furnace is this old oil burning furnace that was converted from like a coal burning furnace. And so there's like this like glass panel, like clear, like that was a grate before that's there. And you can see all like the flames inside burning. But there's also like a little there's like a little door that can be open, and you can tell that someone like fiddled with it recently. And that it's like slightly cracked, just enough for like maybe a head to pop out or be pushed in. So you know that it looks like maybe someone was trying to get Action Man's head in there. But something happened where it like partially melted, but then like it ended up on the floor. So yeah, that's the information you can get from that. And you can describe that down to Hampton, or maybe even at near the end, you can like Hampton wants to confirm. So you hold Hampton up over your head. Hampton's like sitting on your head as Hampton like looks around in their ball. Morgan, what do you want to do? Oh, sorry. Did you want?
I was just going to ask, do we see anything like snagged on the panel or the edge of the furnace that might be a clue or anything like that?
One thing you do notice is that right above you is another, like there's another vent. right by the actual thing. It's like that was like the last vent before going in, and you guys came out of the other vent. And so there's a vent there, and it's when you're like getting down and you looked up, that vent is partially open. So there's a vent like straight above, but it's like that's like right by the furnace. So that's like very dangerous for anyone to be that close, because if they made a wrong move, they could fall directly into it, right?
I am going to check for tracks around the room. If there's dust on the room, there might be tracks.
Okay.
So footprints, not tracks. Yeah.
Oh, and you have basement delver, so gain advantage when attempting to find your way. Yeah. So you're down in the basement. So give me a 3d6 roll, Morgan.
I've got 1, 2, and a 5.
All right, with 5, you notice some very strange tracks. It looks like almost like a hoof. It's this rounded shape about this big, and it would be almost like perfectly oval round, but it's got these like 2 little tiny spikes like on either end, and you could see it, and it's like moving around, and you can't tell if it's like there's like 2 of them or if it's just like this one thing that's like hopping around. But you see this like in the dust all around the furnace, and actually near where that head was found.
I'm going to shout out to Jamie, going, Jamie, over here, darling. There's footprints. I don't know what they are, but they are footprints. And then I find an sort of an empty cardboard box, and I jump into it.
Yeah, yes, of course. Yes, there's an empty cardboard box, and you are now inside of it. Yeah. Peggy, you're also like, that cardboard box is very tempting. And you could bounce into it very easily if you wanted. There's enough room, especially since cats are liquid. You could both fit into that cardboard box.
If it fits, we sit.
Exactly. Yeah. So Jamie, what do you want to do?
I want to flip back to the brick about town. This is not. So
it's like your James Bond social character, sort of.
Yes. Okay. So I want to go back to that because I want to investigate.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it actually has any ability over me, but I feel differently when I'm in these different forms.
Yeah, and if it's like story appropriate for that costume, then yeah, you would get advantage for your roll. So that's how they work.
He's going to investigate and look for clues.
Okay, and you're gonna try to follow the tracks?
Yes, but he'll like dart out, then like dart behind an edge and look around the corner.
Right.
Like this. Because he doesn't really have a gun. But
right. And like some noir music starts playing, and the sound of the rain gets heavier as Jamie is like sneaking around. Yeah, it was a dark and stormy night when these footprints came into the basement. All right. So go ahead and give me a 3d6 roll for investigating.
Oh, 5, 6, and a 3.
Nice. Okay, you are able to follow the route of these weird footprints that Morgan discovered, and you realize that you follow them all the way back, and they begin at this one spot right in front of the furnace. And you look around and like, how did this just magically happen? And then you remember that Taigi pointed out to you that the vent above was open. So you scramble up the wall, and you climb into the vent, and there at the edge of the vent is this weird yellow and silver like piece of plastic, like scraped right on the sharp edge, like that metal edge of the vent, like something yellow and silver has been scraped there. So like some sort of toy or something, or maybe it's like because it's like metallic looking, and it could be like maybe an Easter egg like wrapping that like got like smashed against it, or some other toy or something. You know, Fluffernutter, the bunny, while white, does have this bow tie with like all these like Easter colors on it too. So that could be a lead possibly.
I'm going to go back and tell folks what I saw, and I would like to. My nose is just painted on, so I
Right.
can't really.
Yeah.
I want to find somebody with a real nose to sniff it.
Right, of course. And you do notice, I should also add that besides the scrape, you do notice that this weird footprint thing goes up farther up into the vents. But then when it gets to the vent where all of you and the mice were leaving, it gets too muddled because there were so many people and whatnot right there. So you lose that trail there, especially because you were all coming down as well. But yeah, it goes up. So it came in and out through that place there. So yeah, you go back and you tell everyone this. So what do you all want to do? Gus, do you want to like sniff and maybe try to follow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get my nose up in there and see if I can smell any unusual smells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. Give me a 3d6 roll for that.
These dice really like those 4s, 2 4s and a 2.
Oh,
So again, you get well, actually, you know what? Let's say this. You do get a scent, and you get all the way back up to the main floor of the house, and it comes out in the kitchen. But there's so many other scents in the kitchen that you lose your way. And I will tell you that the scent itself is very metallic smelling. It's not and like very plastic and metallic. It doesn't smell like chocolate. It's some other weird like plasticky smell, some sort of like toy thing. So yeah, you all make your way back up through the vents and you're now in the kitchen, and it's dark here in the kitchen. And Hampton, of course, even without trying, you're just like slightly rolling back and forth on the tile, and you're like in a groove in the tile.
I follow him with
Yeah.
my eyes
Yeah, exactly.
fixed.
So you hear, you're all standing in the kitchen, you hear the quiet hum of the refrigerator, which is the giant cold vault for the chocolate. And from down the hallway, you hear some quiet talking, and you see a light coming from underneath the door, like a blue light. Because you can all see like down the hallway where all the bedrooms are. There's 3 bedrooms in this house. One's the parents' bedroom, one's Billy's, and one's Sophia. Okay, yes, Sophia. And one is Sophia's room. And you realize that the blue light from under it's coming from under Sophia's door. And so is the sound of the talking. So
There's something happening at Sophia's room.
I'm going to roll up to the door and listen very closely at the underneath the edge, as close as I can get in my ball.
you're listening, and you hear very strong Australian accents, and it's this girl, and she's telling this boy Brad that she doesn't care for him anymore, but even though they're not together anymore, he still has to keep her secret that she's a mermaid, and he can't let anyone know. Okay, this is very important to her, and you're just like, okay, this is what you hear. And the door, by the way, isn't fully latched. It's like mostly closed, but you can tell that the thing. So if you wanted to like push on your ball, you could like.
Yeah, I'm going to push
it
on my
would make
ball.
I will tell you this though, that it will make a slight noise when it unlatches and opens.
I'm gonna
But you can do that if you want.
really slowly, and just when it makes that little click unlatch, I'm going to stop so that it doesn't go any further. So it's
Okay.
for a moment.
Right.
And then after a few moments, if there's no other changes or sounds or anything like that, then I'll continue to push the door.
All right. So just as it unlatches, you hear someone, the TV in Sophia's room clicks off. You hear the, and you hear someone like roll over really quickly in their bed, and you can hear the sounds of fake sleeping from Sophia.
I'll
And you
leave
can
the door
hear
for
like
a moment.
that sound of the TV like turning it, like, you know, the degoff, not degossing, but whatever that sound is, as TV is like it's slowly turned off. So yeah, and you did get like a slight glimpse of the screen right before it turned off, and the TV is on like this like kind of like a dresser, a low dresser, and there's the boy and girl there arguing, and they're at like a harbor, like a boat harbor, arguing about the fact that Brad cannot let anyone know that she is a mermaid, this teenage girl, and Brad's just like, but you know, and he's, you know, yeah, she's, you know, and then it just turns off. But in that like that moment when it turns off, you see this live figurines in front of the TV, and the TV still has like slight glow in the dark, and you see outlined very center, in the very center, is this like silvery black and yellow xenomorph Pikachu, the Pikamorph. And then the room gets dark.
Can I smell that same familiar smell?
Well, I'm sorry, what was that, Gus?
Can I smell that same smell that I was tracking before?
You can, yes. So you're all, I'm going to say that if you want to, unless you say otherwise, that you've all gathered right here at the door, and the door's just open enough that Hampton, if you wanted to roll into the room, you can.
I'm going to be very cautious because I'm dead frightened of this xenomorph.
Right.
And I'm going to be watching it really closely. But I just want to see if there's like any other tracks or anything else that we can see as well. But I'm one eye's always up on that xenomorph watching.
All right. Let's do a stealth roll. Yeah.
6 and 5.
Fantastic. So you roll into the room completely silent. And the rest of you are all
carpeted, so the ball's just really quiet.
Just yeah, like a ghost, right?
Yeah.
And where do you want to go in the room again?
Well, I've got to make sure that I can always keep my eye on that xenomorph.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go to a point where I can see more onto that you said that's on a low bench or something like that.
Yeah, it's like a dresser. So it's like like up. So it's like almost waist high for a child. And then there's like, you know, there's a TV, and then there's all the little, there's like a bunch of little figurines around the front. These are the only ones that Sophia's unboxed. And right in the center is the Pikamorph.
Well, I'm going to roll so that I can get a really good view of who else is around there on that thing, and see if any of them have moved recently.
Okay.
We know what they look like.
Right. Yeah, you do. You notice that Sophia's window is open. It's been cracked open, and it's about 6-7 inches open. And Sophia doesn't have her screen on her window. It's like off. So there's actually a little bit of rain coming in and like landing on the windowsill there, and her curtains are open. So you can actually see directly into the backyard. Well, you can't because of where you're at the ground. You can see the sky, but that goes out to the backyard. Yeah.
Can I see, is Sophia on the bed?
Yeah, she's on her bed, and she is rolled over, and her face is in her pillow, and she is pretending to be asleep.
Right.
So, because it is way late, it's past her bedtime, and her parents are definitely asleep. You could hear the both mom and dad in their room, just like sawing logs, just snoring very loudly. They're both exhausted because they've been doing so much. And obviously Sophia's like pretending to be asleep. Maybe she thought like it was one of her parents coming to check on her. But yeah. Yep. So now you have a slight advantage because as an actual creature, if like someone sees you moving around, they're not going to freak out. And Sophia is like kind of at that like cusp age where like she still believes in her toys. So like maybe some of her toys used to be knights or not. Who knows exactly? But she's kind of at that age where it may be okay, but maybe not. Like Billy is totally cool with all of you being knights and like doing stuff, but like is getting sort of like a little bit like, oh, maybe I don't always see them doing stuff, but like they're when they pretend with you, then that's fine, right? But like Sophia's like kind of at that like almost too old, really.
So I'm going to walk over to the door, and as I get to it, I'm going to hesitate and I'm going to stop, and I turn to Tiger and I go, oh, poor Hampton is so scared of that xenomorph. I am going to let him face his fear and experience that it is not actually dangerous. And so I wait by the door.
Hampton, because you're deep in the room,
Yeah.
you hear out on the windowsill this weird sound, like almost like a rustling, and then you hear this very quiet, and it's a quiet sound of a bird. And
I
then
like
you
those
hear
birds.
the clicky clack sound of bird feet on the windowsill. And you look up and you see a crow head, like looking in the room, and it quietly again goes. And then you hear, all of you in your head hear the psychic sound that says, Pika? Pikamorph?
No.
And
That's
Hampton,
like-
you look over and the Pikamorph is not where it was before.
Oh no, I'm out of there. I'm like, I squeak really loud and just roll back towards the door as fast as I can.
Okay, everyone give me initiative.
I
2d6?
get advantage on initiative.
Yeah,
We're
2d6
fighting.
unless you have something that gives you advantage. And then this
Yeah,
is the
I-
only time you add your number up.
Where
I'm
is the
vigilant.
initiative?
I get initiative. I gain advantage, so I roll 3d6. Is that right?
Right.
Where does the initiative
It's
stand?
2d6 unless you unless you specifically have a trait that says gain advantage on initiative.
Okay, okay,
And I
okay.
think Hampton's Tiggy might be the other. Is Tiggy the other one,
don't
or is it Gus?
Gus has a
Gus, yeah, vigilant, yeah. So Gus and Hampton both roll 3d6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 8.
Okay,
I
so
got a
Gus
9.
is an 8, and Hampton has a 9.
I had 11.
Oh, nice, Tiggy,
Wow.
11. Morgan,
I have a 5 because I want to let everybody face their fears.
of course.
Mhm.
And Jamie,
It's my choice.
what's your total?
Oh, sorry, 9.
Okay, 9. Okay,
It's perfect.
I was there. Who's Jamie? Why
Jamie Brickman.
is Jamie? Yeah, the Brickman part. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Jamie part.
So Hampton, as you declared right before I had everyone roll initiative, you start rolling right back to the door. You're about halfway there when we start initiative. So you're, I'm going to say that you rolled past Sophia's bed.
Yep.
And then you all hear in your head, Pikamorph. Pikamorph. And you're all like, holy crap, no. And then lightning strikes and the rain starts pouring really strongly. So it's loud. So maybe Sophia won't hear all this. Who knows? Maybe Sophia will wake up and freak out. We'll find out. But you're about halfway across the room. So you're actually, I'm going to say you're right past the dresser and the TV. And I'd say about 4 feet from the door. And the door is still cracked open, of course. But Tiggy, you're on the bounce, of course. So you're ready to go. What do you do? And if you want so let's talk about conflict really quickly. So everyone gets 2 actions. They can be a combination of any of the 4 major actions, which are attack, move, and also the other 2 actions are not that I've completely forgotten them out right now. Focus and evade. So focus is basically like you're aiming or you're like taking a moment to really get something correct, and that would give you a success on a 4, 5, or 6 on a roll on whatever your next roll is, right? Normally it's an attack, but it could be for like some other thing that you're trying to like really set up. And then evade is lets you like avoid taking taking damage until the start of your next turn. So it makes it harder for enemies to hit you. And then finally, there's also, you could do something like hand someone something or pick something up or something like that. That's like involves like lots of movement. But like talking or shouting at each other or whatever, those are all free things to do that you want to do. But also, if you'd like, you can delay and wait later for like something else to happen. Because I also rolled as well. So
if I do focus now, that carries over until I attack something, correct?
right, exactly. So if you want
Okay.
to, you could focus and then like delay.
Right.
And you
So I
can
want,
say something like, if something comes towards us, I'll attack it.
right. That's what I want to do because we don't see a target right now,
Right.
but I want to make sure I'm ready. So I will do focus and delay.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Hampton and Jamie, you both have 9s. So it's up to you. You can decide who's going to go first. So Taigi's standing at the doorway, claws out, in tiger stance, of course, ready to attack anything that comes too close to the door. But I'm certain, Taigi, that if like Hampton came running up, you would let Hampton by because allies and all that. But Mr. Brickman or Hampton, who wants to go first?
Well, I'm already on the move, so I am going to be continuing as fast as I possibly can. In my ball of doom, I can move much faster than actually most of you can because of the fact that once I get the roll up, it just perpetually just keeps going. And so I am going to be barrel rolling or ball rolling, if you like, towards the door as fast as possible. So I am going to be evading and moving towards the door.
Fantastic.
So because I'm thinking that something's coming after me. This Pikachu, it scares the behaviors out of me, and I'm getting out of here. I don't want to face that.
All right. Yeah. And you can roll about 45 inches as opposed to like
Yes.
30 or 20, which is what most other. So, and you were
Yes.
about 4 feet away. So you're like right at the door. You're just like inches away. And Taigi's like right there and is like steps slightly to the side, took a crescent moon step to let you pass, but still ready, claws out. Right.
Yep.
And then Gus, let me ask. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, Jamie, Mr. Brickman, you still have an action to go. You have your 2 actions to go.
Okay, I am going to transform. I don't know if you can screen share or if people can see. I know that Zoom can be weird. If anybody can open that up, I have transformed. That's my new form, and then I am going to say, I don't know if you could bring that up to the people at home. Anyway,
It'll mess up our cameras, but I'll describe it.
I got it. I'm showing them on.
Okay,
screen.
thank you very much, Secret GM. So this is yeah.
It's just for people at home. Narratively, it's a Lego Ripley in her loader outfit.
That's right.
Jamie he doesn't sleep, so he is up watching late night cable often, and so he's in Ripley in her loader outfit, and he turns and he holds whatever the delay is, and says, "Get behind me!" But he's going to turn and try and guard the door as
All
other
right.
people.
So one side of the door is Taigi, and then the other side of this cracked open thing is Ripley Brickman, loader, alien fighter with giant yellow like claw hands, right? Yeah, fantastic. That's so good. All right, now Gus, you're up, and I'll give you this option. Do you want to go first, or do you want to let the other faction go first?
Well, I'm gonna focus and delay as well,
Okay.
which will effectively mean the other faction goes first, I guess. But I've got my cricket bat at the ready, and
Right.
my tail was between my legs, but I reminded myself that being scared doesn't mean that you're not brave.
That's right.
Ooh.
I can
Fantastic.
be both at the same time.
Exactly. Excellent. Okay. So you get your cricket bat right at the ready. And at that moment, Tiggy, you feel a gust of air, and you realize, and it's this weird like flapping sound, you realize that the crow has taken off from the windowsill and has glided over, and the crow is coming in and doing this like wing buffet, like back wind thing, and its claws are out because it can see the shiny blue ball with the tasty snack inside, and it's coming with its claws to grab Hampton's hamster ball. And also at that same moment, lightning strikes again, and you see the Picamorph, and you all realize that that weird shape that was like an oval shape with the two little things was the Picamorph's normal configuration, where it's just like sitting there like a fat Pikachu that's also a xenomorph. But this Picamorph is now moving in like more of a xenomorph type way, and has like leapt off from the ceiling and is coming down towards all of you. And it looks like it's coming straight for Brickman, because it does not appreciate Ripley Brickman with that thing that once destroyed it. So you can hear the Picamorph, and it's coming down towards you, Brickman. So three of you have held actions, and you get to act before they do. So Tiggy, I think you were the first with the held action. So what do you want to? Who do you want to attack? Because the Picamorph will be in range, as will the crow. If you would like to attack either one of those.
Okay, so the Picamorph just scares the heck out of me, so I'm gonna let somebody else deal with him. So I am going to go for the crow.
Okay, fantastic. So go ahead and give me I believe a 3d6 roll, because you oh, and actually, you know what? You can focus as a free action, and you ignore armor and shield. So you actually have 2 actions if you would like to.
Can
and since the room is dark, you would not have disadvantage on attacking either. So you can roll 3d6 right now, and 4, 5s, and 6s are successful.
Okay, so can I since I kind of have 2 actions, can I pull my the needle out of the sewing kit that I have?
Yes, you can.
So I have that as a weapon. So
Right. Yeah, so you can use that as like your you're also a martial artist, so your claws, your little plastic claws that
teeth.
yeah, and your teeth, like they totally work too. So you don't need to, but if you want to, it can be like your like kung fu sword if you want, right?
Okay.
Or your katana or whatever yeah, whatever martial arts tiger style you want to fight with. So okay, so you pulled your needle out and you're stabbing at the crow. Go ahead and give me a 3d6 roll, and 4, 5s, and 6s are successful because you, Tiggy, are a badass.
I got a 6, 6, and a 3.
Fantastic. So you stab the crow with your needle right in the chest, and the crow lets out this horrible like squawk, ah! And it takes some damage. And you can go again because you focused as a free action. So on this attack, it's going to only be 5s or 6s. But go ahead and roll again.
6, 5, and 1.
Okay, fantastic. You have stabbed, like Tiggy is this blur of fur and needle, and just like stabs the crow a whole bunch. And the crow's like, ah! Like it was not expecting this like fierce of an opposition. And it's just like floundering now. So fantastic job. That's the crow is not happy. Okay, and we have up next, the held action was Jamie. So go ahead, Jamie.
Well, I'm going to wait until right in range till I see the empty nothingness of the eyes, I guess is what it is.
Yeah, it's just like
No
blank.
eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the no eyes. All right. And then I'm going to clamp and bonk her down, or him, her, it. Probably her. Xenomorphs are generally hers, I think. Bonk down on the ground. But right as it's incoming, Picomorph, the clamps, and boom. If it works.
Fantastic. So give me a 3d6, 4, 5, or 6. And you get one roll with this.
I only probably get 4 or 5, or I only get 5 or 6 because I did not focus.
Oh, that you're right. I apologize. You did not.
I had
Yeah.
to transform, right?
You did. Yep.
I wasn't quite as focused as anybody else. No.
Okay.
Successes.
So you go to clamp the Picomorph, and it's like so fast. Like it's falling, right? Like it should fall at like a constant rate. And you're just like gonna do that. But somehow it just like jinks right out of your clamps. They shut on nothing, and it's down on the ground. And its second Pikachu head mouth comes out of its mouth, and there's the little red circles on its side of its xenomorph face, and they spark with electricity, like silver electricity. You're just like, this is the most horrifying thing you've ever seen as its tail whips up behind it. Okay, Gus, you're the other one with your cricket bat. Do you want to hit?
I want to try and bring my cricket bat down onto that xenomorph.
Okay,
Thank
fantastic.
you. Save me.
I got a 2, 4, and a 5.
Okay, with the 5, you slam it down on the xenomorph, and you're like bringing it down like almost like a golf club, and you slam it right into the xenomorph, and it was like right in front of Ripley Brickman, space trucker, and right before it like pounced on Brickman, your bat just bam, and it goes flying across the room. We pan out. It's raining. There's this like little pile of animals by this door that's creaked open, and you see this like lump of a child sleeping in a bed, and you see this little dark shape go flying across the room and hit this mattress like the little quiet boom, and then it falls to the ground. But you're all like, and you got the xenomorph, and it like, it falls, and it's clearly been hurt. One of its arms is like bent weird. All right, and I think that's everyone. Oh, except Morgan. Morgan can go.
So the xenomorph is no longer mint.
Xenomorph is not mint.
No.
In fact, actually, as the xenomorph was coming down, you noticed there was like a scrape on the xenomorph near its like Pikachu head, and where the xenomorph body met the silver and yellow from earlier in the vent. Okay, so Morgan, go ahead. The crow is still there, but it's like, holy shit, I'm being attacked by this tiger.
Is the xenomorph dead?
It's fallen to the ground, and it wasn't able to attack because it got knocked away.
Okay.
But it's on the ground, and it definitely it's not dead yet.
So up until now, in every situation we've been in, Morgan has been the last in. She's sort of taking credit for leading you, but she's so you haven't ever seen her do anything useful.
Right.
Now she strides into the room. She kind of tosses her head and she says, "I am the night. All shall love me and all shall despair." And I will expend one of my 9 lives and cast Shatter.
Nice.
Which means I don't have to roll, and every enemy takes 1 damage.
Yes. So magical forces coalesce. Onyx magic forces coalesce around Morgan the cat. And some of you have seen this before, but it's always awesome whenever Morgan like pulls this off. And just like these black onyx blades like shatter out from Morgan, and one of them like slices right into the bird, the crow, and the crow is like, nope, that's nope, I'm done. And the other one, like another just like shower of them slam into the xenomorph at the bottom of the bed, and the xenomorph slides under the bed. And then right after that, the crow is just like, nope, out. It turns and begins to like fly back out of the room. It's feather. There's like feathers all over the floor. And there's like, there's like black spots from where the crow has been stabbed and bled. But Tiggy and Morgan together drove that crow off. So Yay, no more crow. But it's like flying over the room, like it's flying over Sophia and the bed to like get out of the room. So it's definitely leaving. If one of you wants to attack it next round, it's still in the room technically, but you can tell that it's just like, nope, I'm done. This is too much for me. And the Picamorph has slid under the bed in the darkness. And that's the liminal state between the world of your children and the world of Underbed. So it's like this weird place. So, okay, we're back to the top of the order. Taigi, you're the first to act. And you have dark vision, so going under the bed won't be a problem for you.
Okay, so I am going to go under the bed.
Okay.
And take a look around.
Okay, so your first action is going to be move. So you move to like a couple feet over and get under the bed. And again, it's this weird liminal space where it's like you're both under the bed and you're on this like dirt and cobblestone track that leads off into a distance. And if you look back into the darkness, you can see this like glowing light of this like city far off away, this great city of Underbed. But that's where you are at the moment. You're both under the bed, Sophia's bed, and like beginning on the path towards Underbed. So, and you see like actually kind of like running towards that, because that's also the way to get to the Dreamlands. You see this Picamorph like trying to like get away, but one of its arms was totally bent and damaged when Gus the Corgi did a perfect cricket shot. Just poof, this little tiny thing up into the bed. Okay, so go ahead. What do you want to do with your second action? If you'd like, you could try to like a pounce attack.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and attack, just claws.
Okay. And you can like maybe stop the xenomorph too.
Yeah.
And because you're a bouncer and you're martial artist, all that, go ahead and roll 3d6 for that.
And I've got a 6, 3, and a 1.
Okay, so fantastic. So yeah, you leap at the fleeing Picamorph, and you land on top of them, smash them down a little bit, scratch them up with their claw, and they're just like ah! And they're making this weird hissing noise. But now, like in all of your heads, you can hear the Picamorph going, Picamorph! It's very displeased. And Taigi's like on top of it, just like ah! All right, Hampton and Jamie, what do the two of you want to do?
Well, I've seen the Picamorph finally get a bit of its comeuppance, and it's given me some confidence now. And I am going to move as fast as I can to chase after this this xenomorph and see what I can do. I am going to try and roll right over the top of it. And I'm going to use my furious tenacity and see if I can attack it twice by rolling backwards and forwards over it.
Fantastic.
I get a 6 for my first roll, a 6 and a 1.
Yeah.
And on the second roll for my second attack, I get a 6 and a 3.
Fantastic. So yeah, so
twice.
Taigi leaps, knocks it down, it's like clawing at it, and it like pulls away from Taigi for a second. And just as it's like gotten up, this hamster ball out of nowhere, just like bam, knocks the Picamorph down. It's tumbling, and you like do a fast turn, like that slide in the dirt with your ball, and you just roll right back over it, boom, 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 over it again, and the Picamorph is just like really
Each
dazed.
roll does 2 damage.
Yeah, exactly. So the Picamorph is looking terrible. It is way far from mint. This is like getting down to the not worth it anymore sort of level. Okay, and Mr. Brickman.
So can I just get a narrative refresh here? Did we don't think that the Picamorph had anything to do with Action Man, or do we?
You do, because you saw
We
the
do.
yellow and silver like scratch on the metal furnace edge, which matched a scratch you saw on the Picamorph when the Picamorph first attacked you.
Okay, so I'm gonna run over and I don't really have any skills or anything to do this, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna say to the others, let him be, we have questions. Or let it be, we have questions. And then the pincher is right in front of the face. I mean, I would say that it's probably pretty intimidated by now. It's been beaten around. It knows we're nothing to mess with. And the pincher right in front of the face. Why did you do that to Action Man?
Sure, totally. Give me actually, if you want, like, you can even maybe like grab it with your pincher to like hold it in place.
Yeah.
But that's still like an intimidating roll. So yeah, go ahead and give me. I'm gonna say 3d6 because you're still in that Brickman space trucker setup, which is definitely gives you advantage against Picamorphs.
4, 4, 5.
Okay, a 5. Yeah, you get it by the neck, and it's like Picamorph.
I don't even know if it knows any words besides Picamorph, but you know, hey.
Well, Gus, I'm going to say that you also, like Gus and Morgan, I'm going to say both of you make it in underneath the bed at that moment. And then in your minds, everything kind of goes quiet. Like it's like it stops and it stops moving. It like literally freezes in like a weird toy shape, right? Like it was thrashing for a moment, then it stops. And it just kind of stares at all of you in that weird like Mewtwo Pokemon sort of way. And its psychic emanates out from its brain, and it begins to talk to all of you, and it says that and it's intimidated, so it says, I will tell you what terrible truths I have beheld. And it like flashes images into your brain of the mother and father talking about how the new place they're moving, the kids have way too many old toys that they just need to get rid of. Sophia has all these boxes of toys that she's never played with. She should probably just get rid of them. And it's the mom and dad like over like in the kitchen, like washing up, and the kids are out in another room. And Picamorph has been left in the corner there and is hearing this. And the mom is clearly exasperated, like she's had a crappy day, right? And the husband's just like, okay, just kind of like nodding along as he's drying dishes and putting stuff away as she's like doing the washing. And it's like, I think we should just make sure that each kid takes one box, maybe 2 at most, of toys, and we donate the rest of it. We already have 20 unopened boxes in our basement. We should donate all of that to just get rid of everything. I know the house is bigger, but I don't care. We have too much junk, and I'm done with dealing with all of this. And then it flashes back like that you're out of that memory of the Picamorph watching this. It says, so I had to form a plan on how to make sure we made it. And then the next thing, you see the Picamorph just like standing like a statue out in the backyard in the middle of the day, like the next day. And it's standing on like this like edge of the trampoline, and there's all these crows sitting around the top of the trampoline, and they're all doing their business, and you can tell that the Picamorph is like speaking psychically to the crows and telling them, hey, I will give you all these great shiny things if you can help me dispose of all of these unhelpful toys. And the crows are like, yeah, we'll just take the toys, totally, that's fantastic, we'll help you out however you want. And then the next shot is Action Man fighting a crow, and the crow like pops Action Man's head off, and Action Man's still like the body is still fighting, and Action Man's head is still shouting and doing stuff, and the Picamorph grabs the Action Man's head because he won't shut up. He's just like still talking, like, ha ha, have at you, ha ha, and like the crow's flying off with the body, and the body's still like kicking, and it's like sort of like a kung fu grip sort of thing. And so the Picamorph's like, shut up, and so takes it down to the furnace, and is gonna like throw him in, and Action Man like bites the Picamorph's hand with his teeth and his lantern jaw, and like he like biffs the throw, and then the mice are like coming around the corner, and so the Picamorph's like, I have to get out of here. And like the Action Man is like started to melt because it like hits the glass, but then like falls on the ground, and he jumps up and drives, and whatnot. But you see that the crows that are just out in the edge of the woods have their nests, and Action Man's body is still like hanging out in one of the nests from that memory. So we're almost out of time, I think. Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a quick wrap up. You've captured the Picamorph, and we'll say that you're able to recover Action Man's body from the crows after you have a long discussion with them, and you can like put the head of Action Man back on, and he comes back as Action Man because he's just got that little like dimple plop, snap in. He's like, "Ha ha! I am returned!" And he's like, "And ladies will love me for my scars." His head's like half melted, but that doesn't diminish the greatness of Action Man, at least in Action Man's eyes. And long story short, the mother was just like letting off steam, and no one was gonna get boxed up and sent off, and you're all okay. If we had had more time, I would have gotten into way more of that, but we didn't have a lot of time. But that's the story, and you've all done a fantastic job, and congratulations.
Saved Action Man, the second best of us.
That's right. You saved Action Man.
The second best.
That's right. And even Picamorph, who is no longer a collectible, survived, and promises never to like cross the nights anymore. Right. And Sophia's like, Sophia tells her mom and dad that she thinks that like the bird got in at night and like clawed up Picamorph because it's all clawed up, right? Thinking it was like some shiny thing, and she like drove it off. And they're like, "Why were you awake?" And she's like, "Oh, I was sleeping. It woke me up," But and they're all like, "Okay." And Easter goes off okay. Billy, has all sorts of issues with like just these. Billy actually gets on a really bad sugar high because Billy has like all the gummy candies and all like the sugary candies as opposed to chocolate's still pretty sugary, but it's like all those candies instead of. So yeah, there we go.
Thank you. That was really awesome.
Fantastic.
Great. Thank
you guys were all great too. So thank you so much. If you guys have time, we can like talk more about the system, and I can answer any questions you have and whatnot. I know we were a little rushed there. I think I should have probably been a little bit more not strict, but more on top of the time when we were doing like the setup. But you all had so many good ideas for stuff, so that's we kind of ran over a little bit on that. I didn't plan for us to get. I think we almost went 45 minutes with that versus like 30 minutes.
Right, there's one more brick form that I have that I wanted to share with y'all.
Yes, of course.
It's right here. It's right here. It's right here. If the GM there, he can show it.
It's perfect.
It would have been great.
Which one?
It's
this
the
last
link.
Click on the last link in the chat.
I even had a voice for it. Batman. I was ready for it, but
you only work in pastels and very, very light blues.
We may have taken more time with the world building, but the world building, we had a mini campaign there because we had this one thing here. Then we have the thing with there were multiple enemies, multiple factions. Let's not say enemies, factions, multiple concerns at play in the house, and there could have really only been one adventure. So we had a more full world. It took a little bit more than normal time, but we had a complete world, and that actually added to it in that we didn't know who the enemy was or who did Action Man in.
Right.
It could have been multiple forms, right? Because we took enough time for that world building. That was it the Thieves Guild? Was it the Wizards? Was it so
Yeah. When I run a campaign of any game, and I'm not using like a prepared like adventure path or a campaign that's already been like pre-published or something like that, I generally almost always start with this type of like world building. And if I'm running a full campaign, I will actually I'll do this during session 0, where everyone makes their characters, and then we actually spend at least an hour, sometimes more, and I'll generally have people do 5 or 4 things depending on how many people are in the group. So I do less things per person if we have like 5 or 6 players in the group, and then if you have like 3 players, then I'll let them do more, because we want to get about maybe 15-20 things for like the beginning of your campaign, and doing enough of that, just doing 4 or 5 things. Like if you do like 4 things for 4 players, you get 16 like data points, and you ask like 2 or 3 leading questions after they give you all their ideas, you get this really deep world, and you can run entire campaigns. Like the very first time I did it, I was running a Legend of the 5 Rings game, and just off of the 1 hour, we had enough. I ran it for 6 months before I started asking more questions about like stuff that was going on. And one of the other cool things is that you can also ask like players to like, you can also gamify it a little bit, where if like, if players are giving you threats or things that are very dangerous to the characters themselves, you can give them like bonus dice, and I'll put like a bowl in the center. And if the system already has like a bonus dice sort of system, then you can give them like extra to start off with. Or like say like you're doing Star Wars and they have like force dice, or not force dice, but like the force points where it's like light and dark side, you can give them like extra light side points at the start. And then they can spend those because they put a threat in the game, right? It's like one of the, like a Star Wars game, one of the party members was like, we have to go to this place. And then another party member is like, yeah, we do, but there's 2 Rancor. There's a Rancor like couple that live there in this place. So if we're gonna get to this like temple, we have to get past these 2 Rancor. So I was like, oh yeah, those are totally worth extra cool stuff. Yeah, so like give them stuff like that. And then I also, one of the best things was that first L5R game, I had a player talk about this like dungeon type area. It was like this big ruined castle. And one of the other players, while this other person was talking about it, like drew a map. And I was like, leave blank spots. And then we used that map as like an in-world artifact that this player had acquired from like an NPC in the game. And they didn't know if the map itself, even though the players had drawn the map, like their characters didn't know if the map was accurate. And in fact, at one point where I was like, all right, they're like, okay, so where do we go next? And the person with the map was like, all right, we go up ahead, we turn left. I was like, you walk up and you come to the left-hand turn and it's caved in. And they're like, right? So now what do we do? So we have to like go back or find another way around. So you can do all sorts of like cool stuff where like the players have given all you this really cool information. So it's all collaborative, but then there's also like, there's still like uncertainty and that, especially for the characters. So yeah, I love that technique to do that. And then also, yeah, I love Knights of the Underbed. You guys were all great. I love that. So these are all pre-generated characters that you've all played, but every time I have another group of people who play it, like they bring so many different, because everyone's bringing, their own ideas and thoughts to the characters, and it's great. So thank you, everyone. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you want to ask me more questions, go ahead. I can